Hello everyone, I am back and today we're building a little Victorian home. And to be honest, it's not actually that little. I think when I started building this, I had in my mind that it would be much smaller than it is. And then I renamed the lot, because I always like to rename the lot at the start of when I start building, unless I really don't know what to call it, just to kind of like give me a little guide, as I'm building. So I think I renamed the lot type, and then it's just kind of stuck because, like I say, it's not that little. I mean, it depends on your perspective of little, right? But it is a 3-bedroom house. So yeah, it just turned out to be quite a cute little build, to be honest. Cute little family home, which I think it would be really, really lovely to live in, to be honest. But yeah, so I think we're going to stick with the little, and we're just going to use it to mean like cute, and like just cute and cozy, really. But yeah, so I think I really like this build because it just kind of is like, I like that it's on its own. I know it sounds really strange, but a lot of houses that I build or I have in my mind are often like either semi-detached or terraced, because I just feel like a lot of the houses around me are like that. There's not many houses where I live that are just detached, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I don't know, and it just kind of worked, like being on its own, and it just really works. I just thought it was really sweet. So yeah, but you'll see, when I wanted to build this, I knew that I wanted to have windows which were kind of like framed in stone. So I find a lot of older houses have, and I mean in this case Victorian house, they have obviously a sash window, which obviously originally would have been like wooden. And then they have like, some of them have this like really nice stone that kind of frames the windows. And I find like we don't really have the perfect windows for that in game. I know there are a few sort of like stone type windows. So I know, like, for example, we have some from the university pack, but they're just like not quite what I was going for. And then obviously we have some like really stone windows from the cottage living pack, but I mean they're obviously very like cottagey looking, and I really wanted these windows to look like they were sash windows but framed with stone. So what I did was I use these windows which are just like base game windows, I think, because I don't know, I feel like they're just look like they could be sash windows. And then I used the stone from the Jungle Adventures pack, the kind of decorative wall piece, and just kind of like framed the windows. And then what would have been really great is if there was actually a piece that was like vertical, not just horizontal, if that makes sense. So no, horizontal, not vertical, sorry. That's really confusing. Like I'm trying to work out which one means which way. But so to have to go across like the top and bottom of the windows and not just the sides. But I end up using, I think I've used like the curtain pieces. So I think because curtains came from, I think it's one of the kit packs. That you get those curtains and it comes with like, basically you can make them look as long as you want because it has like a rail you can put up. And I find it really useful, the like wooden rail, because it can look like shelves if you want it to. Yeah, it's quite versatile. I can use it in lots of different ways. But in this case, I've put it at the top and the bottom just to help frame the whole window. And I think it works really well. And I know, saying that, I could have, for example, used the tool mod to turn the decorative wall pieces like sideways so that I could have had like the same stone like going around the whole window. But I think I've mentioned this before, but I don't use mods or custom content. Don't get me wrong, there is some amazing custom content, and obviously mods can do wonders as well. But I've just always enjoyed sort of building within the limitations of the game. I just think it's fun to see what you can do with just what you are given. Obviously, I do use move objects on and the usual build cheats to get all the items and things, debug. But other than that, I don't use anything that's like not kind of in game, if that makes sense. So yeah, I don't know, I've just always done that. So I don't use the tool mod, even though I know there's some things that I do, it could really like make my life easier. And I could make some more interesting things. But yeah, I just stick to what there is in the game. So yeah, so I think it works quite well though, using those like shelves. Like, I don't know, it makes the windows really pop, you know, like, 'cause I think sometimes the windows can get a bit lost, you know, they can look really small, especially when you use a wall that maybe isn't like just normal wall height. You go for like the middle or the tall wall heights. You then kind of have to either use windows that take up the whole wall, or like, yeah, you end up having windows that look just really super small. So this really helps to like frame the windows and yeah, just kind of give it a bit more, just a bit more of a vibe, you know, from just looking at it. So yeah, I did enjoy that. And then you'll see I kind of like messed around with the car as well. You might have seen really briefly that I tried sizing up the Jeep or like Land Rover, you know. I don't know why, but I feel like the cars, I mean, I know obviously they're all debug cars, so they're not real. The Sims don't go inside of them. But I always feel like they are like not in proportion. I don't know, like they always look a bit small. I don't know if it's because my driveways are always just quite big, but I always feel like they look quite small. But obviously when you size them up, I mean, they're bigger than the house, so that doesn't work. So yeah, so I just go for just like one of the standard debug cars. But yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like they look a bit small. But I guess we just need some real cars, and then hopefully they'd be more in proportion. But yeah, so we are on the inside now, and yeah, I did enjoy this layout. I find it like fun to make the hallway sideways. It's like really lame thing to say, but I don't know, I find in a lot of houses the hallways are like, you know, the front door is at the front, and then your hallway just kind of goes like direct off the doorway, whereas this one, it's kind of like the doorway's off to the side, and then it kind of like cuts through the middle of the house, and it's quite interesting. And then on the downstairs we just have obviously the hallway, a little toilet, which is just a toilet and a sink. The big room at the front with the bay window is the main living room, and then there's like this kind of L-shaped kitchen, like diner with a kind of seating area as well. So it's quite nice. It's really nice size for a family. In my mind, this would be a house for a family of 4. I kind of envisaged a family with a child sim and a toddler sim, but obviously you can change that to however you want. You can have whoever you want to live here. You can change the bedrooms. They're set up obviously at the moment for obviously a main master bedroom, and then a child sim bedroom, and then a toddler sim bedroom. But yeah, like I say, you can change it to however you want. And I feel like it's a house which is, obviously it's not like, it's been modernized in the sense of it's not like super old looking, it's not like dated looking, but I still think there's things like that they want to do to it, and there's still like colour choices and furniture pieces that maybe they've had since like, you know, they first bought their first home and they haven't been able to like change it yet, just for like, I don't know, like money reasons. Maybe they're like still saving up and, you know, just like going along like that. So for example, like the lounge is that kind of like pinky colour, and I feel like actually they really want to change that colour because it's quite like, I don't know, like it's a bit of a curveball colour for the lounge, but maybe they just haven't got around to it. They haven't had time to do that yet because they're, you know, busy with their children and other stuff going on. But they're like, you know, it's fine because it's like their family home, you know, so they don't really care like what the colour of the walls is. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I was getting, you know, just like not perfect, but like in a good way, you know, just like a nice family home that over the years I'm sure they will like slowly change and like redecorate, and yeah, but it's like, yeah, it's really nice. And I went for a nice yellow kitchen unit in here. I really enjoy, I have to say, like, I know this isn't like really like, I know we have like the proper shaker kitchen. Is it called the shaker kitchen in the game? I can't remember, but the like the one that came with, is it Parenthood, I think, which has like, it even has the fridge, doesn't it, that like looks integrated because it has the wooden like cabinets either side of it. But I wanted to use quite a rusticy one, so I went for this one, but in like a nice popping yellow colour, because I think kitchens are really fun when they've got a nice pop of colour, especially if like the walls are quite plain and everything else is quite plain. That's kind of like brings in the colour. And I really enjoyed as well using the round table. I feel like I never use a round table, but this space like really was asking for it, you know, it was calling for it, and it really worked. But yeah, I don't know why I never use a round table. I feel like the round tables, though, to be fair, are either really, really big or like just slightly too small, you know? Because either you have the small one and you can put like 4 chairs around it, but then I feel like the plates would get quite squished, like in real life, like there wouldn't be enough space. But then the bigger round table, I think, like proportionally looks like a really good size for like, you know, a main table for like 4 chairs. But it like kind of needs more than 4 chairs, because if you put 4 chairs, it's like a bit, they're not like evenly spaced, if you know what I mean. I know you can evenly space them, you can like, you know, like alt place them, but like how they click in place is like, it's quite a few. I can't remember, is it 6? Can you put, it's 6, isn't it, that goes around that table? Yeah, I'm just looking, yeah, six chairs can go around that table. And that I think just looks too many chairs, you know? So yeah, there's just no medium. But yeah, so maybe that's why I don't use it that often. But I don't know, it worked here. I liked it. Did enjoy. And then we're on to the upstairs. And again, I feel like, you know, this wallpaper in this child's in bedroom is, I feel like they've had since they were born, you know, and maybe at some point they're probably going to want to change it. Same with the toddler's room, so bright. Maybe it's the colour of the walls when they moved in from the family who lived here before, and they've just kind of gone with it, you know. So because it's not very like coherent, you know, like it's not like they have a set kind of style like the family who live here. It's just kind of how it's progressed, you know, and how maybe some of the rooms have stayed when they first bought the house, and some of them might have changed. They might have done some of the rooms, you know. That's kind of the vibe I was going for. And I feel like as well, this child sim is probably a late child, like maybe nearly a teen. They started to get quite messy on the floor, you know, and like a nice funky mirror and things, you know, that they're just starting to find their independence, you know. So yeah. And then this is the little toddler's bedroom. I feel like I haven't made a toddler's bedroom for a little while. I've been making a lot of infant bedrooms, I think, because I think I've been enjoying using like the cots just because they're new. Or like, to be fair, they're not that new now, but they still feel kind of new. So yeah, I thought let's make a toddler room instead and use one of the new toddler beds, because they're quite sweet, aren't they? I've always felt like we needed more options for toddler beds, so it's nice that there's a like that new one. But yeah, you'll see me jump around back into the kitchen, and that is because I forgot to put a washing machine, and I don't know why, but I find in most of my builds there is always something I forget in the kitchen, so like I always end up having to go back and add it in. Mainly like a bin, which I mean that's pretty standard, like, and it's quite easy to just like, you know, find somewhere for it to squeeze in. But like, yeah, I forgot a fridge in a build like a little while ago now, but yeah, and I don't know how I managed that, because that is like pretty essential. And I feel like when you make a kitchen, you kind of have in mind like, oh, where's the sink, where's the oven, where's the fridge? So it's weird that I just like didn't put one in. But anyway, this time it was the washing machine. So yeah, I just quickly added one in mainly because I don't know why, I think I was doing the toddler's bedroom and I was thinking about how much laundry you need to do when you have young children. It's just like constant cycle of washing clothes, you know, because they can get through quite a lot, especially if they're going out in the garden and getting a bit mucky. So yeah, I feel like that's why I suddenly was like, oh, I need to do a washing machine, and oh, I need to put a laundry basket down. And then I was like, oh, and then I definitely, obviously, have to put a washing line outside. So I didn't actually put a dryer, because I also feel like that is quite realistic. Well, to me, it's quite realistic to just have a washing machine and not a dryer. I don't know about you guys, but like when I grew up, we never had a dryer, like a tumble dryer in our house when I grew up. Everything just always went on the washing line or just like hung up around the house. So yeah, and do you know what? I have always liked hanging up like wet laundry around the house because it makes the house smell nice, you know, because you smell like all the like detergent and stuff. I don't know, it makes the room smell nice. I always remember doing that at uni as well, because obviously like I didn't want to pay to use the dryers to save money. So yeah, I just remember always like coming back to my uni like halls room, and it would always, after I've like washed loads of clothes, or even my bedding, when I would wash like, you know, like the duvet covers and stuff, it'd like, yeah, my room would smell so nice. It was like really refreshing. Yeah, really nice. But yeah, so yeah, that was a big tangent. But yeah, so I just wanted to put a washing machine because I felt like it was needed. It's needed in a house like this. So yes, that's why I jumped around a little bit there. But we are out into the garden now. And it's quite a simple little garden. It's a little bit of a funny shape because the house kind of like, obviously it has this kind of like part of the kitchen obviously sort of like sticks out, and then the kitchen goes around it. So it's kind of, the garden, goes round it. So it's kind of like in a U shape. So that's kind of like a bit funky. So yeah, and it's just kind of like got some flower beds, you know, nothing too fancy. There's a swing, because I feel like they definitely have a swing. And of course the washing line. And a little seating area with a barbecue. I feel like that's kind of what they'd have. But yeah, I mean, there's loads of space for if you want to add anything here, or even take away some of the flower beds, because they are quite big, the flower beds. But I just always feel like it like makes the garden look a bit more realistic by having the sort of like naturally flower beds going around. And you may notice as well, like I've kept the actual exterior of this house so far like plant free, which I normally don't do. I normally like to put a lot of kind of greenery on the walls, and I do actually go back and do put a bit on. You'll see me do that at the end. But yeah, I didn't, when I first started the build, I wasn't too sure kind of like how the interior was going to go. I didn't know how perfect it was going to be. Kind of had in my mind it might be more, yeah, like I say, like very like pristine. But actually in the end I decided to make it a nice, you know, family home that they just, you know, love it as it is. So yeah, I do add a bit of greenery to the outside because I feel like, you know, there would be some plants growing to just add a bit of, you know, realism to the build. But yeah, not too much, not too crazy, because I feel like sometimes I do go a bit crazy with my landscaping and training and things, but I just really enjoy doing it. I find it really therapeutic for one, putting all the plants down and things. And also it just makes it feel a bit more alive, you know? But yeah, so I'm just finishing up now with a bit of the greenery, like I say, and then I will leave you with some screenshots and see you in the next one. Bye!